Hashtag American Bass DX 10-inch subwoofer script. You know what really frustrates me? Buying a cheap car subwoofer and getting nothing but muddy, distorted bass that sounds like someone's rattling around in your trunk. It's disappointing because you've already spent money on your sound system, and then the sub just ruins the whole thing. That's where the American Bass DX 10-inch subwoofer comes in, and honestly, it's the kind of sub that actually delivers clean, tight bass without all that nonsense. Link is in the description if you want to check the latest price on Amazon. So here's the thing, this subwoofer is rated for 600 watts of peak power, which might sound like just a number, but what it really means is you're getting serious output without needing to spend $2,000 on equipment. I tested this in my daily driver, and the difference was immediate. Music that felt flat before suddenly had depth and punch to it. The 10-inch cone is the sweet spot for most vehicles because it's not so massive that you need a huge trunk space, but it's big enough to actually move air and hit those low frequencies properly. What impressed me most was how clean the bass stays even when you're cranking the volume. That single voice coil design with the 4-ohm impedance means it integrates really well with standard car audio setups, so you don't need some crazy expensive amplifier to make it work. I was running it through a modest 500-watt amp and got excellent results. The voice coil size is engineered to handle sustained power without thermal stress, which means you can listen all day without worrying about blowing it. Installation was straightforward too. You obviously need a proper enclosure and amp, but assuming you've got those basics covered, getting this mounted and running took me about an hour. The build quality feels solid, the magnet is substantial, and everything feels like it'll last. In my car, whether I'm listening to hip-hop or electronic music, the bass response is tight and controlled rather than boomy and annoying. That's honestly the biggest win here because plenty of cheap subs just add noise instead of actual bass. Now let's talk real for a second. The pros are obvious, you're getting a reliable 600-watt subwoofer at a price that won't break the bank, the engineering is straightforward so it pairs with most systems, and the sound quality is genuinely good without any of that plasticky distortion you get from budget alternatives. The cons? Well, you do need to invest in a proper enclosure and amplifier, so this isn't a plug-and-play situation. Also, if you want absolute maximum output or have a really large vehicle, you might want to step up to a 12-inch, but for most people's cars and trucks, the 10-inch hits different. At the end of the day, this is a subwoofer that respects both your ears and your budget. You're not overpaying for marketing, and you're not settling for garbage sound. If you've been dealing with weak or muddy bass, this legitimately fixes that problem. Like I said, the link's below on Amazon where you can see the current pricing and grab one yourself. Let me know in the comments what subwoofer setup you're running.